We'll call to order tonight's meeting. Start with public comment.
For the public that would like to offer comment, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. All right, no hands raised.
All right, presentations, which I don't believe we don't have one. So I make, looking for a motion to approve the February 6th meeting minutes. And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. April 6th, 2025, townwide cleanup. Big day.
All right, Stacy, I know you sent me the Sign Up Genius this evening, so I'll get that QR code generated, and then I'll obviously send a link to everyone. If we want to start posting it on social media, I've got the news article from Bree for the spring newsletter, so I'll incorporate that. Just got the deadline for near the end of the month, so that'll go in the spring newsletter. Stacy, have you heard from Jennifer about the poster at all?
She's on.
Oh,
I just logged on and had an issue with my speaker, but I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was just waiting for the details of the time and everything, and it won't take me long to do what I did last year. Is that accessible anywhere?
I'll just send it to you tomorrow morning with the link and everything.
Okay, thank you.
Garrett, what about the piece I wrote for the economic newsletter?
Yep. That I just gave Rose a link to the Cleanup Day page on the town website. Once I get the poster from Jen, the poster will go up on there along with a link.
What about the one to businesses trying to?
Yep. So because I didn't have the link ready for Sign Up Genius, we had the IT department create a Green Efforts email, and just said if you're interested in participating, email greenefforts@farmington-ct.org, and we'll notify you when the signups are ready.
Okay.
That's all set. Spring newsletter's all set. The building use form and public event permit are all set for cleanup day, so we're all set with that. I got the stickers in for the signs, so I can get started on those. And then I'll get the temporary sign permit all set, and we can start putting those out a couple weeks before cleanup day. And then I'll also coordinate with the town manager's office for a social media posting for cleanup day on the town's Facebook and Instagram pages. That's all we have.
When do you guys usually put up the signs outside?
The event permit is 2 weeks before, the event permit. The temporary sign permit is 2 weeks before the event, but our office, and it's a town event, so we're a little lax with it. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 weeks. I mean, if we want to start putting them up early April,
yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm the one enforcing it, so.
Yeah.
So a couple of things about the townwide cleanup that aren't on these three spots. Number one, I've spoken to the Lions Club, and they're looking to participate again, which means that we need to provide instructions. People should keep bottles and cans separate from the rest of the trash.
All right, and I did go through all of the tubs of supplies, and we have plenty of clear plastic bags for the bottles and cans. And I think what would be best if we just set up a larger, we've got smaller, like shopping bag almost types that say Green Efforts on them. And I think if we gave, because people don't normally pick up a ton of recyclables. I think if we gave people those and just had the one larger clear bag at the station, and then we can fill them up, and that way we're not taking multiple small bags.
The thing with the clear bags wasn't so much for the recyclables. It was for the people who weren't separating recyclables.
Okay.
If they were picking up trash, put all the trash, including recyclables, into a clear bag, then the Lions Club can pick up this clear bag and see if there's any bottles and cans in it.
They want to go through the garbage?
Well, that's what I'm saying, if we just give them a separate bag with the larger trash bag for bottles and cans.
Yes.
And again, that's part of that is having Green Efforts members at the collection stations to start up in the morning and say, yep, this is what, when someone comes and volunteer, give them a bag, give them a grabber, and say, this smaller bag is for collecting bottles and cans, because it'll go to the Lions Club, something like that.
The other piece that is at the other end, when people come in with bags, whoever's manning the station needs to know to take the bottles and cans and not put them up in the bin, but rather set them aside.
Right. And I think we're weighing them.
Yes,
They're light, so it's not a groundbreaking amount of weight, but it's, it's a little bit, a couple ounces here or there helps. And I think, again, having the separate bag is easier to weigh, as opposed to some people just bringing a handful of cans that they collected, separate them by holding them in their hand and bringing the trash bag in. All right.
I think those little bags would help, because most of the people who are collecting only on that day, and they're not going out picking 4 bags.
No. And that's why we've got tons, and we have a whole tote full of the small Green Efforts bags that I think they were donated by Farmington Savings Bank a long time ago.
Leftover
Yes.
from the garden club, oh my.
Yeah, it says they do say Green Efforts on it, but yeah, they're left over, and we've got tons of them, and they're not.
Swept up in it, right?
Yeah, and they're not great for collecting the trash, but I think for the recycling, that way, again, it's a smaller bag, we can still weigh them, and then, and I thought that, maybe check with the Lions, but I thought for the redemption center, it needed to be in a clear plastic bag.
No, I mean, they're gonna bring them back to their,
Okay.
center, and they're gonna sort them all out.
Oh, okay, all right, well, that doesn't matter then. All right,
But
Maybe- yeah.
the idea is that they are gonna participate again, and hopefully they'll, make a lot of money.
yeah, all right.
I did put all that in the poster, I believe.
Yeah.
when I revised.
Oh, I had another thing I wanted to bring. So this is the sign-up sheet that, Amy had done after last year. I made some minor changes if anyone wants to look at it. I made copies here. Is everyone good with how this is laid out? I might change it up a little bigger so the lines are larger for people to write in.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, we can get scratch pads of paper for people to total up and tally for people that are coming in. And then obviously each space will have its own title. This is just the one.
So, it's not so much making a change here, because I don't know how to change this to make it easier. But one of the problems is when a person comes in multiple times.
Yep. So that would be a scratch paper pad so that people can
Well, there's
tally up
different
on.
ways to do it. If whoever's at the station fills their name in and uses the same name they used before.
Yeah, as long as
At the end of the day, they can add them up.
it's legible, that's fine, because last year I ended up typing it all out, and if sometimes, if you have bad handwriting, or you started scribbling your name because you wrote it nice the first time, and now you're just scribbling it in or something like that, then it gets a little more difficult, and that takes a little deciphering, but that works too as well.
Would it help to know how many individuals are there in a team, because that will help with the price distribution
Yes.
in the second column?
Yeah, I can add a little column after, either group name or after contact name that says number of participants.
The problem
Versus
is,
the
the problem is
price.
they don't know the size. So
No, but if-
I would go for the Democratic team.
Yeah, I
We have
think.
no idea how many people are gonna come out and pick up.
No. I don't think for that, like if a Boy Scout troop came in,
There are
Yeah, about
4
Boy
Boy
Scouts
Scouts
and
Yeah.
stuff, I was thinking
And the
of
Boy
reaching out to
Scouts-
fancy bagels, we'd like to
Right.
know how many are there, and so.
or like if, I don't know how many troops there are, Boy Scout troops there are, and I think there's only one, right?
One of those two.
68?
Okay, so let's say they said, all right, just go to one of the 4 locations and collect trash. Well, at this location, we had 4 people with Troop 76. At this location, we had 6 people with Troop 76, so we can tally it up that way, too. So I can just add a small column that says number of participants.
Well, the thing about it is that, and I'm not sure how organized, My sense is that when Troop 170 shows up at Tungus Hose, they have no idea how many kids are gonna show up. They put the message out to all the troop members,
Yeah, that's right.
and they know how many people are in the troop,
Right, but when they show up, they'll have an idea of how many people.
but they don't show up as a group.
Right, but, so if you say, this is Joe Smith from Troop 26, and I've got 3 people in my group, and then an hour later, this is Steve Jones from Troop 76, and I've got 6 people, then we do it that way, and do a sum total at the end for each individual. So that's what we're saying with the participants. It's not necessarily for your group, or whatever organization you're with, it's for the group of people you're cleaning with, that moment. Other than that, everyone's good with the,
This is Stacy. I just want to note that on the Sign Up Genius, I didn't even provide spots for people from the community to sign up to be at the table, so that just our committee members will be at the table and we all understand how this needs to go, so there won't be a training issue as long as there's availability in the committee.
So, I'm sorry, has she put out a sign-up?
so in the past, we've had 2 sign-up spots. You could sign up to collect trash or sign up to host a table. And I think the best thing is to have Green Efforts members at each station. That way, it's a little more clear with the instructions. I know in the past, we've had people there for the first shift, and then the second shift was someone else that came in, and they might not know exactly what they're supposed to be doing or something like that. So it's kind of making sure the committee is represented at the collection station.
What time does collection open and close?
8 to 1. Yeah. No. So, and again, you can do it in 2 shifts. I think we normally do 7:30 to
1.
10. No, in the 2 different groups.
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
And again, it's 7:30 is the setup time. It does not take a half hour to set up for cleanup day.
So we'll have volunteers, but we'll also have one person from the committee there.
Yes, yeah.
I
think at least
didn't
one-
I didn't add slots for volunteers, so
No, but I think if a committee member wants to recruit someone to man a table,
We all get
yeah.
assigned a.
Yep.
A collection. Yeah, and
find a
then-
buddy, someone you want to spend 4 hours with.
That's fine. That way you're not alone.
And then you can also train that person however aggressively you want.
Yeah, exactly.
You're another person.
Also, so we don't have to sit there all day, because
Exactly.
there aren't that many of us.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is that it's important to have somebody at the table signing people up, making sure
Sure.
things go well. It's also critical that somebody knows how to use the scale and weighs the trash. And the person who's sitting at the table can also be doing the weigh.
You need 2 people there.
You need 2
Right.
people, you need to
You
have
need 2 people for both the shifts then.
I did it by myself and it was fine.
It's fine.
We've done it by ourselves and it's been fine.
If there's
I,
that big of a
I
rush.
mean,
Yeah, I
kind of-
think,
There's not that much to do.
yeah, I think some locations have more, like Tungus Hose is always super busy. I think Farmington Fire is usually pretty busy, and IAR and Westwoods is, or, Tungus Mead is more of like the high school kids that are there anyway for soccer or something like that, and they go out into the woods and collect trash because they're there. I don't think we get as many walk-ins at Tungus because it's set back from the road where we're set up, whereas opposed to Farmington Fire is right on Main Street, it's the easiest spot. IAR is kind of off to the side, and it's not as busy. It's also not as active area of town as Unionville and.
You could do it by yourself. You could do Tungus Hose all day.
And I think Tungus Hole is usually pretty busy, so that people, I think in the past, Johnny's been there all day, Amy's been there all day.
Yeah, I'll get sick, 1 or 2 people to come with me, and I can do that one. On prizes, I don't know, Gary, can I give these to you?
Yeah.
So I got $100 from Fork and Fire, from Naples, and from Wooden Tap so far. The Wooden Tap one's only 1 card, the other 2 are $250.
Yeah, so we can, if we get a lot of people, we can divvy them up into
Let
two
me know
separate.
if you need more, or whatever else. But what have we done in the past? Is that,
It depends on how many people we get participating in the groups and stuff like that. Like if there's like a single person that collected 500 pounds of trash, we usually give them 1 gift card. But if it's a Boy Scout troop that collected 200 pounds of trash, but it's a group, and we can give them the Naples gift card and it's, you know, they can do a pizza party instead,
So
so.
it would be a good idea for me to, I could shake down Mike at George's too, I can, a few other people I can wiggle one out of, so.
I think, Jen, were you also working on prizes too?
So I still have 2 from Naples, from last year that I don't know if they were ever distributed. And last year, we also, I think we had given the group prize to, I think we had solicited, I'm trying to remember the putt-putt, the name of the putt-putt ice cream shop.
Farmington Mini Golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know, that's normally the ice cream shop, so that, because kids are more interested in getting ice cream than playing the mini
So
golf.
I'm happy to reach out to them if nobody has. I think that's a cute prize for the kids groups as
I
well.
think that's a great idea, and those guys are always happy to help with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna approach, Fancy Bagels as well.
Yeah, great.
Kids may be interested. And Bollywood Dreams also has approached me just last week saying that, what happened, are you doing it this year?
Oh, great.
So I said, okay,
That's great.
one
Yeah,
week
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So we'll see. I wonder
listen,
who
we're-
used it though last time.
If you're a
They had a
business,
good
it's a good way to get your
experience.
name out there for free too. I mean, we give, my policy is give a gift card to anybody who asks for it.
Bollywood Dreams, and what was the other one, Chris? Sorry.
You came in and asked for it.
What was the other one?
Fancy Bagels.
Thank you.
Well, that's a please.
No, you did the 10% off for
Are
the
you sure
school.
this is for the Little Sisters of the Poor, Jen, or
No.
Marie?
So Garrett, typically we put the logos of the donors on the poster, which I think is a nice kind of way to help them, help us, help them kind of thing. Is that
Yeah,
something
so I'll-
again this year? And if so, like, is there a central list that I can reference?
I think this is all we've got so far. I think we, in the past, we've done a list of names, and if they have a logo, we'll do a logo. So obviously, Fork and Fire has a logo, Wooden Tap has a logo. I think Naples just has their name.
He's got a couple of things, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and just
Fancy Bagel doesn't necessarily have a logo. So we do the names, and if they've got a logo, we'll include that at the bottom, just as a, you know, to catch people's attention.
Yeah, I went and just found their logos last year off their websites, and just
Yeah.
robbed their website logos basically. Sorry, so can we run through that list one more time just so I know? It's Naples, obviously, Fork and Fire.
Wooden Tap. Jennifer's going to reach out to Farmington Mini Golf, and then Priya has been contacted by Bollywood Dreams in Unionville, and she's reaching out to Fancy Bagel in Farmington.
Somebody was gonna do George's?
I can shake them down, it doesn't sound like we need it, but if we.
I think if
If we have extra Naples in the.
yeah, and we should keep an eye on it, because if you know, if we can alternate businesses, and that way it's not too much of an, you know, I know sometimes they plan for it, but you know,
Yeah.
everyone's different, so. Okay.
Wasn't the jewelry place sponsoring last time?
Yeah, Amy, Farmington Jewelers donated a bracelet last year.
I'm sure she would do that again if that was.
Yeah, so I had talked to her, and she said it felt like we were giving away a piece of jewelry for cleanup day, and I said, what you can do is you can get a gift card, say it's sponsored by a gift card to Naples, but sponsored by Farmington Jewelers, so they still get their name out there, and it's not as much of a burden on Naples, as an example.
Gotcha, okay.
I think Johnny did the same thing. He got a couple gift cards donated by Carrier Homes. That's how he did it. So, because obviously, home builder can't really give anything away for cleanup day. Yeah.
So one thing else, and it's, I guess it's sort of has to do with prizes, but not really. We made decisions last year that the bigger groups, now, use the Democratic Party again as the bigger group, groups like that we weren't gonna give prizes to. But what we
That's not
also didn't
true.
do,
That's not true. It's the political parties.
Give a prize to. Like if a company participated, we'd give them a prize.
Yeah, I say.
no, I'm not talking about the prizes necessarily, what I'm talking about is the recognition.
Yeah.
When we put out information about who won prizes, because political parties didn't get any, prizes, they were mentioned, even though
Well,
they can.
There was a problem with with who actually really won, remember?
Yeah, I think the best way is that,
What is the
So the-
situation with you?
so the best way to do it is that, Keith, as our town council liaison, gives I think it's quarterly report, or Keith gives a quarterly report, and the town manager also gives a quarterly report.
Long day.
Quarterly report.
Yeah, when I do that, I can list off everybody who,
Yeah, so I think if we did it that way, again, it just depends on the timing, but I think if we have something I've got the totals for cleanup day, and the town council meeting is March 1st, or May 1st, and we haven't met to discuss the prizes yet, well, we can just I think the chair would be fine with making a special special accommodation to just say, hey, we're announcing the prizes from cleanup day, this is who won at the town council meeting.
Yeah.
Whether it's the chair or whether it's Keith, I mean,
yeah, no, I
don't think it matters. Yeah.
We need the whole committee, because last year we spent quite a lot of time as a whole committee deciding who was gonna get prizes. Do we need to do that, or?
Did you guys pick the prizes? Just the weight, or?
Oh, yeah, we looked at the weight and then picked location and then tried to divvy them up between, civic organizations, businesses,
A different way to do it,
categories for,
like, in the past, is prior to the cleanup, they said, okay, whoever is the, most trash for a school organization is gonna get this prize. Whoever picks up the most trash as an individual is gonna get this prize. So the prizes were decided ahead of time. It had nothing to do with how much they picked up on the day.
I mean, we can,
That way you don't have to sit around for a meeting deciding who gets what prize.
yeah, I mean, it's the committee's decision. After cleanup day, I can just, once I type up the list, I can send it out to everyone, with the list of prizes, and we can it doesn't necessarily, as long as it's in an email, it's fine. It's more of, for FOI purposes, that the odd chance someone would file an FOI request for how the Green Efforts prizes get. There are towns that people FOI everything. There are towns where you have to set up an appointment because you're serial FOI or FOIer. It's not in Farmington, but I know colleagues that have had to deal with that. Anyway, it's more of, if it's in email, it's technically, it's correspondence, that's fine. Someone can say, someone can make the determination and say, I think this prize goes to this person, blah, 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 and then if no one opposes, that's what we'll just go with.
Hey, can I just put something in there, because, having run it for many years, and I just want to just say, this is a lot of conversation about the prizes, and this is like a minor thing in the whole night or day. And it's usually whoever's chairing the event, who's Stacy, I believe it's you, is that right?
I think it's more of a group effort, but
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's not one person that's in charge.
yeah.
Got it. So, because this, having everybody decide who gets what prizes, it just feels like a waste of time. I'm just gonna be frank.
I don't disagree. I
Yeah.
think, so why don't we just do this? I will, try to, go with John's help I'll email John just to try to come up with some categories. I think that's a good way of doing it, what John was suggesting, to have it in advance. John and I will send something over to Garrett, and then maybe for April, we'll say, these are our categories that we're giving prizes out to. We have 6 prizes, and it's gonna be organizationally and individually.
Yeah, and-
And if that works as a good outline, we'll go forward with that idea, and if Garrett hates it, then put whatever stamp you wanna put on it. Because you've got more experience than me.
On the bus.
No, it just is, I want you to be able to, you're the one putting so much work into this. If it's something that you think really doesn't make sense or doesn't make it easier, then let's throw it out. But that way we could just have the issue be done.
And then we'll also have a special meeting the week before cleanup day anyway. And we can say, this is, if we're all set by the first April meeting, we say, these are the categories, think it over the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then we meet in April. If anyone has any changes, we'll take them. If not, we'll just go ahead with this.
Sounds good.
You have the records from the previous years, right?
I don't. I only got last year. I don't know who kept it. I can look through, but as far as I'm aware, I don't have it.
So it's just by organization, so there's various there's school organizations, charitable organizations, business organizations, and individuals, right? Yeah.
I think we've,
It's already been done, somebody already did that work.
Yeah, but it won't be hard. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah,
line
the
tomorrow and.
I mean, the
Sorry.
categories have always been school groups, civic groups, businesses, individuals, and there were only 5 categories, actually, not 6. And scouting, scouting troops. So girls and
Okay.
Boy Scouts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good start, so.
all right.
All right, on to F.
One last,
Never mind.
sorry. I also went through the tubs. It looks like we've got enough bags, for this year. We should have all the scales. I gotta pull everything out of the garage and check all the batteries. This is more of just on cleanup day, if you think we're starting to run low on gloves or something like that, just make a note and we'll motion to order new supplies in May, so we have them for next year. But the boxes are kind of full, so it's kind of hard to dig through each one and determine how many boxes of gloves we have, how many trash bags, and it's winter, so it's cold out in the garage. So just something to keep in mind for cleanup day. Just keep an eye on how many supplies we have. We should have enough trash bags, because I think we bought like 6 cases of 100 a couple of years ago. So I think we're good for now. Again, I'm going to double check when I start pulling those hubs out of the town garage, but just something to keep in mind for cleanup day, so that we can order new supplies if need be. Now I'm done.
Hey, Garrett, or Stacy, maybe, is there a QR code for this year?
Not yet. Stacy just sent me the link this evening, so I'm going to do it tomorrow morning and I'll send it out.
Okay, thank you.
So on the posters and the I guess it's the posters or the newsletters, are people mentioning the fact that you can begin picking up trash
Yes.
on April 1st?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right.
Public education goal.
Spring will be cleanup day. I think we, cycling for summer, I think was the plan. And then, because we did the lights in winter, with the winter newsletter. And then
We have dark skies on Zackalian.
Dark Sky went in the winter newsletter.
Okay.
Mine yesterday.
Oh, you did, okay.
It's in there.
Okay, so Dark Skies is in the winter newsletter. Cleanup day will be the spring newsletter, because most of it's taken up by the budget. Summer we'll do the recycling reminder for everyone, and I think we're going to do a small reminder in the fall newsletter for Dark Sky as well, just because I think that was the migration pattern.
Migration is.
Yeah, just a reminder to turn off excess lights, so that's.
Good. Waste reduction goal.
Oh, I did talk to, Sam is on.
Hello. So you're asking about that? Is this the IAR question, Garrett?
Yeah.
Approved by the Board of Education in our major improvements budget is half the cost for the sorting stations for Irving Robbins. We're looking to get a grant match on the other 50% of that once the budget passes, if it remains in there. And I've also carried enough in our refuse line to be able to carry 6 months, the second half of the year for the bins for Blue Earth or for the compost removal.
Who's in charge of writing the grant proposal?
So I'm going to be working with Veronica on that.
Okay.
But I'm assuming, I think we had some money from Noah Wallace grant last year. I think that's probably the direction that will go. So there's that aspect of it. And then also we're going to have some educators at Irving Robbins that will be willing to step up and lead the charge with the students for organizing the program there. So Tara will work in conjunction with that person.
Great. Let us know what the committee can do. I wonder if Blue Earth would have a rep to be an educator as part of their service.
Sure,
I'm saying somebody to kind of manage the day-to-day of,
Okay.
what students are manning the station and making sure that, the program gets up and running there.
When is this slated to start in the,
Second half of the year, so it gives time for, the station to be built, education around it, because if it's a new program, don't want to be launching it the first day of school, because there's enough going on. So it's just for the second half of the school year to give time for everyone to build it into the program and everything like that.
So next year?
Um,
Next year?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think,
yep.
Okay.
2026?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's how it went with Westwoods. We started in the
Yeah.
summer, but nothing got done until the second half of the school year. By the time the table got made, the education component was all settled, and getting kids to volunteer to monitor the station, everything like that. So,
I'm
talked to
not sure if this
Tara
is
about-
gonna come up or not. But part of the idea of going to Irving Robbins was the fact that all the new kids going into Irving Robbins would be coming from Westwoods, and they know how to do this.
Right.
They've been doing it.
right, but it's also, staff needs to now, it's a new.
There has to be some sort of a gap,
So,
but I don't want the gap to be long enough for the Westwoods kids to forget what they were doing the year before.
Well, they're doing it now. Tara gave me an update and she said they're collecting about 800 to 1,200 pounds of food and paper each month. They're also rerouting all the apples and oranges to the food pantry and to a farm that's here in Farmington.
Oh, so they've actually dropped because I think it was almost near 2,000 pounds
No, I'm sorry.
before. So that's,
Yeah, she said we're sending around 800 to 1,200 pounds of food paper to be composted each month.
and working with a farm.
Well, and the food pantry, because the kids have to take an apple and an orange, and they're throwing them
Right.
out by and large.
And as
All
a
right, well, that's,
pantry member, I'm board member, we're thankful for those apples. So,
Kids at home.
no, and I think that's,
To the food pantry.
I mean, just because it's not the same amount of waste being, we measure it with Bloor, so that's obviously different, but if we know that the food's going elsewhere, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
So far,
Right.
It's a total waste.
figured it was organic.
Sam, is that the number that you have?
Anna's at the end of the week.
I don't recall from the last
Yeah,
report.
no, that's
you gave
okay.
me.
Yeah, I just talked to her today. I just said, hey, we're meeting tonight. I didn't know if you'd had a connection.
Yeah, I know she gets updates from Blue Earth for the kids,
Yeah.
so I'll check with her to see if she can send me a couple of those.
Yeah, good idea.
thank you for putting that in the budget and getting that through.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
through the
fantastic.
first round, we still have the rest of it to go, and then referendum finally. But yeah, it's through the Board of Education passed it.
Do you think we're gonna need anyone to talk at town council in support of it, or it's so buried in the education budget that we're fine?
I doubt it will get that granular with the major improvements because that's in the operating side of it. But if the question comes up, I'm certainly comfortable speaking to it.
Thank you.
Sure.
We have Keith too.
I'll strong arm those jerks. Don't worry. I agree with Sam, though. I don't think it's gonna get that granular. Because, and especially with the Board of Ed budget, the council can, even if they elected to not approve the Board of Ed budget, we don't have any say in what they would potentially take out or not. It's still the Board of Ed's decision, so, I think it'll be fine.
And it'd probably only get granular if we had 2 failed votes.
Yeah, and I think, listen, I'm somewhat optimistic actually going into, but we'll see.
You say that now.
Say that now, when I'm at that Saturday meeting in a couple weeks.
All right, and, Sam, did you talk to Matt Ross at all about the smart boards, or has not? I know you've been busy with the 900 building.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any further information. That just what he told me last time that they were set. And I did talk. He was going to talk to the schools about could he make it earlier, where they shut off, because I think he had it at 9 to accommodate parent teacher conferences and those kinds of things. But I don't believe that would probably be something that they would do during the summer anyway.
Okay.
But I can bring it back up with them.
That would be
Yeah.
great if it could be 6. That's 3 hours over the course of a year.
All right.
On energy efficiency for school and town buildings, is there any, I mean, I'm just trying to educate myself, I really don't know, but have we considered solar panels for schools and town buildings, or, you know, how far is that? It's a huge effort for residential buildings, but I'm
Yeah,
not
the
sure.
biggest problem is that almost all of the schools and all of the most of the town buildings are flat roof, and there's a major concern with now, you know, if you've got a bowl and now you poke a bunch of holes in it, it's a colander, so it's a bunch of chances for the rainwater that normally is slightly pitched, you know, compared to your normal roof. It's pretty much flat, but there's a pitch to it to get the water out. It could find those weak points and then cause water problems inside the building. So a lot of other towns that have put solar panels on the school have had issues with water leaking, because now you're adding all these it's not like you put 2 on the ends and that supports 100 feet of solar panels. Each panel has its own bracket, sometimes 2, and then you got 2 bolts on each. So it's a concern with puncturing that membrane and then now water getting into the building and causing damage. I think we looked at it for a couple of buildings, but that, again, that's the hardest part, is that most of the buildings are flat roof.
That's the big problem,
Yeah.
I always wondered why, but thank you.
Yeah.
Other?
Nothing.
I do.
Can I bring up one thing, actually? With all this ice that we've had in the town, the town is putting out like a huge amount of salt, you know, all over the place. And I'm just wondering if they're using a salt that is somewhat environmentally friendly. Do we know what they're using? I know that I have a dog and I walk her, and, you know, her walking on that is really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the pet safe salt, like that you would buy, you know, if you've got a pet, or especially a dog, you know, you look for the certain salt so that it's not hurting their paws. I don't remember what salt it is, but it is supposed to be the more environmentally friendly because of the state municipal separate storm sewer system permit. It's called the MS4 permit that we have to do. We have to do water testing, and it's a whole big process every year that the engineering public works department undertakes. So that's part of it, is using the different salt. I'm fairly certain. I forget what's the good one and what's the bad one, but I can find out which salt we use.
I was gonna say for us too, because he explained the same thing to us one time, and it was exactly what you just said. That
Yeah. So we can't just use
you can't just throw
the
anything
old
down.
salt. Yeah, it's not just like the old salt that, you know, turns the river into salt water.
Okay, good.
'Cause-
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, you know, it's the same reason most people don't use sand anymore, because that ends up flowing into the rivers and clogging and stuff like that. So, even most of the site plans, I think if they're near wetlands, or discharges to a wetland, and there's one other criteria, I forget what it is, but we do have them put on the site plan that they can only use certain types of salt, and that way it's a zoning violation if you use the wrong salt.
That would be a good article for the newsletter next winter, just
Yeah.
what does the town use, you know?
Yeah, and what to look for
What
on
are-
your own because, again, you know, you can throw out whatever they sell at Home Depot, or whatever's the cheapest thing at Home Depot is what you're throwing down on your driveway. If you can, you know, mention it,
Right.
because the point is that everything that's not grass goes to the river.
That's right.
It doesn't go anywhere else aside from the Farmington River. It's, you know, if you're in the south end of town, it goes into the Quabic, which flows into the Farmington.
Right.
So everything ends up in the river, so, you know, we always say nothing but rain down the drain is for our MS4 stuff. So you'll see that in the newsletter as well, saying, you know, don't wash your car, and this could be you know, an all-around article. Don't wash your car in the driveway, wash it in your lawn, because some of the stuff will sit in the grass and volatilize in the sun, whereas normally it would just flow right down the drain into the storm gutter and into the river. So, there is an MS4 page on the town website, and I can send that to everyone just to kind of get an idea of what the information the engineering department puts out. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing to have Green Efforts do an article in the winter or summer saying, hey, you know, here's a couple things, and just saying, you know, you write on the town, there's links to other stuff and things like that, but sometimes having it come from more than one source is better.
Thanks, Garrett.
Yep, no problem.
So I had a question about, the town years ago, and the only reason I know this is because we bought a tree, did a tree effort. And I'm wondering if there's that was a disaster?
I'm trying to get information. Are you sure it was the town, it wasn't the garden club?
No, it was the town because it was in the town newsletter. That's how we found out about it. And it was a crabapple was one of the choices, and...
Yeah, it was probably native Connecticut trees or something like that.
I'm not even sure people were into natives back then. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But they were obviously not supposed to be tall ones. If you were going to put it out on the street somewhere, they didn't want it reaching the power line. So no maples or anything like that. It was short trees. And it just seemed like that might be something that we think about as a future project. I mean, maybe time it for next year's Arbor Day, which is at the end of April. And I don't know, I just thought I'd throw it out there, trees being a good thing and something that we all want more of and are very disappointed about when they all get chopped down.
Yeah, and I don't think you necessarily have to limit it to the small trees. I mean, there is benefits to having street trees, reduce heat island. So if you notice on any new subdivision, we require one tree for every 50 feet of frontage. So if you've got 100-foot of frontage, you're required to plant 2 trees within, I forget what the number is off the top of my head. Yeah, it has to be along the road.
Right.
Again, the difference with new developments is all the utilities are underground, so you're not worried about a tree growing into the power line above. The roots could still find their way.
That'd be great.
I
think there was a limitation in this one, that you had to plant it within 150 feet of the road. So
it could be something like that.
People could see it, or, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a whole fenced-in yard and you plant a pine tree, that's not going to be 10 feet tall for 5 or 6 years. It's not as...
fairly substantial. I mean, it was, caliper was not insubstantial. I mean, it was not a little, you weren't getting a little sprig.
Yeah, I think...
That's why they were
I think the problem is now those trees are like $300, $400 for a 2-inch caliper tree.
I haven't researched any of that.
Yeah. It's again, we've got pretty extensive landscaping regulations, so, we've got all the new developments have a certain number of trees that they have to plant, parking lot trees, buffers, everything like that. And again, with the subdivisions, there's street trees that are required. But let me look into that more. I'm trying to figure out, would know anything about it.
The last one?
Yeah, just in our department, because if it was a lot further ago,
We don't have a tree warden, do we?
it's
Falls under Russ Arnold's purview, I would think.
yeah.
I think
Anything
so.
if you don't have a name for it, just
It's
give it to us, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Russ knows all, huh?
Yes.
Pretty much.
He's been here, so, he wasn't around when today, so I'll chat with him and see if he remembers.
I don't think he's here.
If he wasn't, then it was a long time
It
ago.
was a long time
That
ago.
would have been a long time ago.
That tree has long died.
Well, the crab apples only last like 30, 40 years, I think.
It wasn't that long ago.
No. A healthy one only lasts like 30 to 40 years. I think they're not long-lived trees.
Right. No, I don't know that.
Yeah, and again, with the way the crab apples grow, they find the way to rot out. And so, anyway, I'll look into that and see if we can get some more information about that.
And I also wondered if there's ever been any interest or attempt or at teaming up with any of the other towns on some of the initiatives that they're doing. Do we ever, I don't know, in the interest of economies of scale, or just, so we don't have to think of everything on our own?
There's some things, but most of it is usually based on where the revenue comes from, what we're required to do by state statute versus, or what we're limited by. You know, there's the smaller density towns, they are more likely to share services because they don't have enough residents.
But I was thinking more along the lines of the composting effort that went on in West Hartford. I mean,
right, but so that's more of, each town has their own bid process, their own contractor, and if we're to, you know, switch contractors or switch plant, then every town has to have their contract line up, which sometimes doesn't occur, and it's, you know, I don't know all the details of our trash and recycling contracts or how long those are and everything like that.
I don't recall doing things jointly. What I do recall is reaching out to other towns to figure out what they did.
Right, well, that's what I was thinking. It's really more in the planning stage, not in the implementation of it.
I know we've reached out to West Hartford
Mm-hmm.
several times to get what they've been doing, because they were ahead of us in recycling.
Right.
What if we divvied up the surrounding towns and each of us went to one of their sustainability committee members and listened in and reported back?
Yeah, we could do that.
As long as it's not the first Tuesday.
Yeah, no, Simsbury's is on a Thursday, and I can't go to the one in March, so.
Well, this brings me to another topic, which is another member who would really like to join, who actually, I think I just said her idea and stole it from her, and she's probably listening, so sorry about that. But like, I would like to clear the way to get her to join the committee. So I don't know. She knows that she needs to talk to her town council rep, but I just want to put it out there. Like, we have somebody who's awesome who wants to join.
And you're up.
Yeah.
We're working on it, Stacy.
Yay! Thank you.
I was just gonna add, I mean, household hazardous waste is multiple towns. It's Canton, Avon, Simsbury, Farmington.
Right.
We take turns, so there's multiple events throughout the year, and we know who came from what town, to drop stuff off. But that's a joint effort, so that way it's not on each town to host the event.
Yeah. Oh my God, I waited in that line in Simsbury for an hour.
Yeah. Last year, the e-waste, they had to come back multiple times, and they were here hours later after it closed.
And the shredding, it was full by the time
I think we got 2 trucks this year.
UPS, we spent $90 on.
Yeah, I think we got 2 trucks this year.
Yeah.
And again, oddly enough, the shredding is part of our stormwater permit from the state, that we offer events like that, as is the household hazardous waste. That way, it gives people alternative opportunities to dispose of stuff. But I think we've got 2. We're supposed to have 2 trucks this year, I think, for shredding. And I think we only had 1, and there was a problem. And
some other town was doing it at the same time last year. That was a problem.
a lot of towns do it around Earth Day. And I think there's like a mechanical problem with some of the trucks, and it was a disaster all around.
And one of the problems in Farmington with the hazardous waste is that it pulls people away from cleanup day. So you need to make decisions whether they're going to pick up trash that day or they're going to go up and drop off their hazardous waste.
26th?
Yeah, 26.
All the same day.
At the same time.
Every year. Yeah, we do it that way because we've already got highway and grounds employees working, so it's easy for them to just come pick up the truck or swap it out if it fills up. Because they're already working, we don't have to call someone, especially just to sit around waiting for us to call them. It's the guys who are working at the collection event, and then if one of them needs to get called away, it's a full-on event for the highway department. It's not just like there's one guy directing traffic at the cleanup event. So that's the reason. Again, it's economy of scale of coordinating with them, so that way it's less of a burden on the town.
Any other?
Other?
Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.